Welcome back to Operation Evil. This is episode 81, and I'm calling this one Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I'm your host, Nyoka.
I'm Rachel.
And just as a reminder, we are still gathering listener stories to share at a later time. So send us your creepy stories at operationevilpodcast@gmail.com. And in case you didn't see it on our Facebook, our podcast turned 2 not too long ago. So we were pretty happy about that. And thank you guys for continuing to listen. Now,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. The story that I have for you today, and this probably won't make sense because this is actually coming out an episode later than the one that, anyways, it's way past our anniversary when they're hearing this, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Anyway.
July is the whole month of the anniversary, so
sure.
It's fine.
Yeah. The story that I have for you today is all about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. This is the story about the brutal murder of Thelma Boinville. And I wanted to start this story out with a quote by Jack Thorne, and it says, "Those we love never truly leave us. There are things, shit. I'm going to try this again.
Bella Thorne's brother, Jack Thorne, says.
The quote I'm going to start this story with is by Jack Thorne, and it says, "Those we love never truly leave us. There are things that death cannot touch." Here we go. You never know when you wake up if it's going to be your last day that you experience. And I think that a lot of times that we forget this. And it's easy to just go about your day and do your routine as you normally do.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes even like if you're autopilot.
Yeah, you become on autopilot.
You don't remember driving from here to there.
Yeah. But sometime everybody's going to wake up one day and it's going to be their last day. And I think that we just forget that or we take it for granted. And
that's sad.
It really is sad to think about. And I'm sure that this was the case for 51-year-old Thelma Boinville when she woke up on December 7th, 2017. Thelma was born in Brazil.
Ooh, Brazilian.
Yes. And worked as a substitute teacher at Sunset Beach Elementary School. And to supplement her income, she also cleaned homes part-time. And this was perfect for her because it allowed her to bring her 8-year-old daughter to her cleaning jobs after the school day was over. Well, on this particular day, her final day on Earth, Thelma brought her daughter, McKenna Boinville Emery, with her after school to clean a beachfront house that she occasionally would clean.
Oh, let me say something, because I don't think you say Brazilian. I think you say Portuguese, right?
I think that what I've researched, it says she was a Brazilian native.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Somebody out there can correct us. I'm not.
I have a friend in Brazil, Leo.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So maybe he can correct. You know what I think I might be thinking of is like you don't say like you say that they speak Portuguese. I think is what it is. I think that's how he told me.
Yeah, that makes sense. But they're Brazilian.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
No, that's a good point. It is. Okay, so goes to the beachfront house that she would occasionally clean. Nothing new here. One of her regular days. When they arrived in their gold 4-door Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, her daughter decided to sit in the back seat and watch a movie while her mother would go in to clean the house. Unfortunately, when Thelma entered the home to clean, she interrupted an active robbery, and they took her life for witnessing it.
Oh my gosh.
The people that murdered Thelma, they were a young couple, Stephen Brown, 23, and his girlfriend Haley Dandurand, 20. Rachel keeps saying Duran.
I'm sorry.
Danduran.
It's okay. I can make fun of her name because she's a killer.
Yes.
Duran.
But what events led up to this? So earlier.
That's terrible.
That
I'm just thinking about the little girl watching her little movie.
I know.
Out on the beach?
Yeah.
I mean, not like the little girl wasn't on the beach. But
right.
Like,
she was in the truck watching her movie, probably some kind of Disney movie.
Yeah, having a nice little evening.
Yeah. Relaxing after school, not knowing what's happening. It is sad to think about. So earlier this day, Stephen and his girlfriend Haley had been camping at the beach when she discovered the empty rental and told Stephen about it. The pair decided to break in through the upstairs window, and they began looking for things to steal and use. Now, Stephen he was so comfortable in that house that he decided to even make breakfast in this rental that he broke into. Like, who does that? And he found a liquor cabinet, so I'm sure he took advantage of that as well. Now, Stephen Brown had previous run-ins with the law, and according to court records, he was charged with abuse of a family or household member in June of 2017 after he punched his then girlfriend multiple times. Court records indicate the abuse case was dismissed without prejudice in August 2017. Now, I felt like this information could be important to mention with the alleged claims of abuse that will be mentioned in the trial. And it kind of shows his character in general.
Oh, okay.
So the moment Thelma walked through that door and startled them, her life would be over. Her body would be found downstairs, lying face down in a pool of blood, when an Australian man who rented the house arrived with his friend and saw the truck and the door open and entered. And he heard 2 sets of footsteps upstairs and quickly called 911. Thelma's daughter was discovered alive upstairs with her hands and feet bound and her mouth covered with packing tape. Now remember, this little girl's 8. Like, she had to be terrified.
Oh, yeah.
When the daughter described to her father that, quote, a boy with green hair and a girl with pinkish and reddish hair, end quote, were responsible for what happened, her father put that information out on social media and soon got a photo of the couple, whom she immediately recognized. Tips led police to, I don't even know if I'm going to say this right, but Mililani Town Center.
Sounds right to me.
Where the truck and the pair were found and arrested. Bell, who's the prosecutor in the case, said that Stephen told police, quote, "You should have killed me, just kill me already," end quote.
Poor baby.
Yeah, boo-hoo. Stephen was taken to the police station with a brief stop at the hospital. Police tried to cover with paper and tape, like his hands and arms, which were covered in blood-like substance, and he tore off the paper and began to lick the blood off.
Gosh.
Ew.
That makes me think of that jackass that they had to put the paper bags over his hands.
Yes.
That
I forgot about
shooter?
that. Yeah. Yeah, gross. Stephen's shorts and shoes were stained with the blood-like substance, and keys to the truck were found in the police car that he was transported in. His fingerprints and DNA were found on multiple items. Now, Haley, the girlfriend that was there, she was found wearing Thelma's shell earrings that her husband made. How rude is that? So disrespectful. And she also had Thelma's debit card in her pocket and the daughter's purple backpack. Sick.
Beyond words.
When the couple appeared before Judge Paula Devins, Stephen, 23, had green hair, wasn't wearing any shoes, and was surrounded by dozens of deputies, and the judge set his bail at $1 million. Haley, who was 20, appeared in court barefoot and dressed in a light blue prison gown. Her bail was set at $500,000. Neither of them gave a statement.
I wonder why the different two bails.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Stephen and Haley had been charged with second-degree murder in the death of Thelma Boinville, who, again, was 51. Stephen had also been charged with first-degree burglary. Why do I have trouble with that word? Burglary, kidnapping, and 2 outstanding warrants. Haley has been charged with first-degree burglary. How do you say it?
Burglary?
Okay. Kidnapping and unauthorized possession of confidential personal information, which I'm assuming is the debit card.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? Maybe his bond was higher because
he had warrants,
trouble and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah. And yeah, because maybe he had more domestic stuff, or I mean, who knows what the warrants were for. Now, after many delays, and I'm talking many delays from 2017 to 2023, finally the trial begins. So this happens in 2017, and the trial starts January of this year, 2023.
I mean, I understand COVID years and all that stuff, but from 2017?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It kept getting delayed and pushed back.
That's so not fair to
Thelma.
Yeah, and to her husband and the rest of the family.
Yeah. Now 28 years old, Stephen's trial starts. His defense lawyer, William Bagasol.
Sorry.
These are weird names.
These people are filled with some names.
Yep. Began his opening statement with an explosive quote from his client, which was, "Haley, what the fuck did you do?" These words were from Stephen after discovering Thelma's body in a pool of blood on the kitchen floor, he says. Okay. His attorney goes on to say that it was Stephen's ex-girlfriend, Haley, and not Stephen who killed Thelma Boinville, but said his client is taking responsibility for robbing the rental and kidnapping the mother and her 8-year-old daughter.
That doesn't make any sense, kidnapping the mother, but she was killed right away, right?
Yeah, but I guess maybe they tied her up, kept her against her will. Maybe they considered that kidnapping there. I'm not real sure because they were already in the location, but maybe, I don't know. Because they wouldn't let her leave, that would be considered kidnapping.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure. But he was a man, and he said, "I did those things, but I didn't kill her."
So let's blame the girlfriend.
Let's blame the girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
How does one break up in jail?
I know.
Do they have their attorney break up with their girlfriend for them? Do they pass a note? How does this work? I'm really curious. Do you tell your attorney, please tell Haley that I want to break up? And then the attorney goes to Haley and is like, Stephen breaks up with you.
Or it's, I'm going to blame you for all of this. And then she's like, then I break up with you.
Right. I think it's a legit question.
God, I mean, they sound like they're
young, obviously.
Yeah, but gosh, they sound like they're 12.
I know. They do. Now, Haley, who has claimed to be a victim of domestic abuse at the hands of Stephen, will be tried separately for second-degree murder and the 2 kidnappings, along with other crimes related to the case. So that's why I included his past alleged abuse. Because now she's saying, he did this to me, I'm a victim, he abused me. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Who knows?
She's just disgusting for wearing the jewelry.
I know. That's that really upset me. Out of all things, it's like, you're going to take her stuff from her body and wear it? Like, it's disgusting. So, in 2020, a few years after the crimes, so I'm going back a little bit, Haley's attorney filed a restraining order against Stephen for this abuse that I just talked about.
Yeah.
Even though he's been in custody for the past 5 years. Like, how do you even get that done? Like, how do you even get that approved? Like, I need to get a restraining order from my boyfriend who is also locked up. Like, how does that work?
Who pays for these filing fees, too, is what I want to know. Because...
the tax dollars, probably. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that sounded weird.
It is weird. It's freaking dumb.
Yeah. So Stephen's attorney addressed the courtroom stating, "You will hear evidence," and I'm back in 2023, by the way. I left 2020 and I'm back in 2023 at the trial. His attorney addressed the courtroom.
Does this get worse?
This does.
Gosh.
He said, quote, "You will hear evidence of what happened to Thelma Boinville, but there is no proof that he did the killing. No one was present to observe the killing, and there is no fingerprint or DNA evidence as to who may have touched whatever implement was used in this case," end quote.
They were there for a robbery, though. Like,
yeah, like, I'm sorry that we didn't have Billy Bob witness what they did, but they witnessed each other, right?
Well, and isn't the point of a robbery to, like, not leave?
Not get caught?
Right. So...
he goes on to say...
I'm getting mad.
I know. I was getting mad, too. He goes on to say, Thelma surprised them. Haley told Stephen to keep her from leaving, but he just wanted to take their stuff and go. Because Stephen's like, no, let's just take the stuff and go. Okay? Okay, Haley, calm down.
Haley Duran,
Haley. But Haley told Stephen, check out the house. Check out the property.
Oh, God.
And that's when he discovered the young daughter in the truck. And when he went back to Haley, he saw blood everywhere and confronted her and asked her, "What the F did you do?" That's where that came in, right?
I'm sorry. That's a crock.
I know, it's just like, you're reading this like, this is ridiculous. Like, come on. No, you didn't. So as Stephen sat in the courtroom, he no longer had the curly green hair that he did in 2017 when he was like a mess before the judge, right? Instead, his hair was brown and it was pulled back into like a slick bun, and he wore a white shirt with a light colored plaid jacket with tan pants, and he was presentable this time. He even lowered his head when photos of Thelma's body, her bloody body, and her head covered with a plastic bag were shown as evidence.
There is no way that girl did that by herself.
It's funny you say that. So, we'll continue. I like that you said this, though. Now, Deputy Prosecutor Scott Bell described Thelma's injuries to the jury. He stated that she had a sharp and blunt force injuries and chop wound cleaving into the bone, causing fractures, her wrists and ankles bound with a cord, her hands and arms stabbed with defense wounds, cuts to her face, head injuries, including brain injuries, and stab wounds to her throat.
Oh, gosh.
Pretty bad.
She fought.
Yes, she did. He presented photos taken by a police evidence specialist, as well as the actual items, including a bloody kitchen knife, a folding pocket knife, and a machete. A hammer and a metal meat tenderizing instrument was laying next to her bloody body. The defense noted that a baseball bat that was entered into evidence had no blood or DNA on it. Now, Thelma's daughter, who's now a young teenager, was escorted to the witness stand for her testimony, avoiding any contact with her kidnapper and her mother's killer. She said that he carried her inside the house and told her, quote, "We killed your mom," end quote. How horrible.
That is terrible.
So how old is she at this time? This is what, 5 years later?
13-ish?
Yeah. Now, Stephen said the girl was mistaken and that he told her that her mom wanted to see her inside. So she walked in. He did admit to carrying her upstairs and shielding her face from seeing her injured mother on the living room floor. Prosecutor Bell asserted that Stephen falsely testified that Thelma was unhurt when he tied her up and left the house to search the property to make sure no one else was around. However, despite the more than 40 witnesses and 400 pieces of evidence the state presented, it only had circumstantial, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
You did it!
Thank you. Evidence to work with and no eyewitnesses.
How is it circumstantial?
Stephen's attorney fired back and was stating there was a lack of any conclusive DNA, blood, or fingerprint evidence tying Stephen to any of the weapons used in the murder. And this is why I said I like what you said before. Prosecutor Bell said the number of weapons suggested 2 people were involved in stabbing and assault, which caused numerous injuries. So basically, he's like, no way did one person do all of this. No way.
Even if she's tied up and this young girl put a bag over her head, there's no way.
No way. So in the end, Stephen Brown was found guilty of second-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and first-degree burglary. Why does that word sound weird? Okay. As the verdict was read, Stephen stood before the judge wearing a blue long-sleeve shirt and brown pants with his hair pulled back in a neat bun. He shook his attorney's hand before he was taken back to jail. Stephen faces a sentence of life with the possibility for parole for second-degree murder, but an extended term could mean life without possibility of parole. So let's hope for that. After the verdict, Thelma's close friend, Lucia, do you think that says Lucia? Peterson.
Yeah.
She said that she spoke to Thelma's mother by phone, I guess after the trial and the verdict and everything, and that Thelma's mother was very happy that justice was served, and she's praying that he never gets out of jail. Now, she also has remained close to Thelma's daughter, and she said that Thelma was a good mom, and she always put her daughter first. They had a really strong bond. She believes that McKenna will grow up to be a strong woman and that she is determined to keep the image of Thelma alive.
Oh,
I know, that's so sweet. She also said that McKenna sometimes calls her to translate recipes from Thelma's cookbook, which is in Portuguese. There you go, like we were talking about earlier. And she said, quote, she wants to be a chef and go to culinary school and open a restaurant.
Oh, I love it.
I know. Thelma's dream was to have a bakery together with her daughter. So that gives me like chilly bumps because
it does.
I mean,
really does.
So, oops, I banged the microphone. Sorry about that, guys. So friends say many of them came together after the murder to embrace Thelma's only child and to continue to speak Portuguese because that's what her mom would want. So I love that too because they're trying to keep her culture intact.
Yeah, and you know, like just so she could visit, like if there was family, you know, because sometimes like if you don't use it, you lose it,
right?
And then you can't talk to family that only can speak.
I'm assuming her dad doesn't speak Portuguese, and this is why the other family members are doing that. I mean,
that makes sense.
I don't know, but
I love that too.
Yeah. At Thelma's memorial service, a friend described her as someone who was on a different level, like she had climbed here ready to live at a higher level. As far as Haley's trial is concerned, she is scheduled for this month. July of this year.
So no trial for her yet.
No. So we need to keep an eye out, or an ear out, should I say, for the outcome of that. So that's coming up this month. I haven't found anything about it, so I don't know if it's later in the month or what date exactly, but I just know it's this month, as long as it doesn't get canceled.
I hope they stick with the date.
Yeah, so let's hope that justice is served with her as well. Hopefully she'll get the same sentence, not get off the hook for this. So, that's it as far as the story goes. If you can't get enough of Operation Evil, consider supporting the podcast. Like we always say, there are many perks and different tiers to choose from. But regardless of what you pick, you will get a shout out in an episode every month. Well, you won't get a shout out every month. You'll get an episode every month, though. I just want to be clear. But if you can't join us, that's fine. You can buy us a coffee. The link's in the show notes, or you can support us for free and tell your friends to share our Facebook page. I mean, any of these things always help, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And since I began the episode with a quote, I thought I would end on a quote as well. And I don't know who this one's by. Sorry. But the quote is, "There is no denying that there is evil in this world, but the light will always conquer the darkness." And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, tell your friends to give a listen.
Thanks for making us angry.
I'm sorry I made you angry. But,
I'm just kidding. You didn't.
But this is a fresh one. Not fresh, but it is as far as trial goes. So if you guys hear about Haley's sentencing or anything and you want to reach out, because sometimes I forget or I won't think to look it up, anything like that, please let us know.
Or, depending on what area this happened or what have you.
Right.
Different news outlets.
Yep.
And you can easily remember the last name because it sounds like Duran Duran.
It does sound like Duran Duran.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you guys. And we'll give you another story next time. Goodbye.
Bye.